episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast, our interview session today. Real excited about this one with Master Dan, a martial arts instructor. I'm gonna let you give all the, the technical names, but, appreciate this brother in the building. And we told you we want to bring you people from all walks of life. So can't wait to get into this one, man. I'm Brother Oga, Hip Hop News Uncensored. My co-host sitting across from me is
Sam Man, Viral Hip Hop News. You already know the exclusive interviews. We've had this business section, of the Uncensored Truth podcast. We have Brother Trev on from Plug to Plug. Shout out to our brother Trev. I think you just dropped that exclusive interview today on Hip Hop News Uncensored. Yeah. Everyone watching, appreciate it, enjoy that. Brother Kansu, Brother Darren, we also had on. We had Brother Israel Doctrine, and now we have my man, Instructor Dan, Professor Dan Carey, 5th degree black belt in Korean martial arts, founder of his own black belt kickboxing system, AMNU jiu-jitsu instructor. He is a 5th degree purple belt in that, as well as a slew of other accredited martial arts background. You have an incredible background. Brother Dan Carey, the floor is yours. We'd love you to introduce yourself to the people at the Uncensored Truth podcast. Yeah. And yeah, man, let's talk about what we got going on.
Thank you for bringing me in. I know my accolades, it's a lot. I've done a lot. Just a couple things. It's like I'm a 5th degree black belt, like you said, in many Korean martial arts, background, boxing, wrestling early on, and then the fighting arts for over 35 years, just about. And I'm a purple belt instructor, 4th degree purple belt instructor for the RMNU Association, Jiu-Jitsu Association. It's Robs and Moore Nations United, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Association. And it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, man, ready to talk about whatever,
See, I'm glad he's here because I tore all them names up. See, that's why he's here. That's right. Why we call him Professor Carey. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's sitting here teaching right now.
And not to offend any jiu-jitsu people out there.
Please,
Master Carey from the other arts. Now I'm on my way trying to become a professor in jiu-jitsu. That's exclusively what they call like the coaches or the black belts that run academies as professors there. It's a great culture, a great lifestyle, and hopefully one of those days I'll be able to have that and wear that strong too. But,
dope.
I'm working hard. They make me work hard, man.
Dope. Talk about a little bit, give the people a little bit of a background on who Dan Carey is, because you have an incredible background, incredible story that led you to the man you are today, to the martial arts instructor that you are today. So give the people a little bit, without giving them everything, just a little bit on who Dan Carey is.
All right. Well, like many, I'm from North New Jersey, inner city, grew up pretty tough, as far as the martial art background. I guess that's when I started to start to love it. We had on Saturdays, it was Kung Fu theater, wrestling, and then the gates open, everybody outside playing, So that I started way back then with the love of martial arts, but just didn't have the financial ability to start to train, So the easiest thing to start getting involved with was boxing, So that was my go-to, in wrestling. That was my go-to. Later on in life, as when I became a father, I was like, I want to have something to do with my son that we could do together, because growing up, single mom, no dad, none of that kind of stuff, and, as children, when they're born, they don't come out with books, but all you have in your mind is the mindset of, I wish the things you wish you had when you're younger. And my commitment as a father was to have memories and do things with my son that I never had the opportunity, or many of the other people in my neighborhood didn't have the opportunity for various reasons, whatever. We know the reasons why fathers may not be there. And that's like 4 or 5 podcasts probably, but to talk about that. So that was the thing. I met a gentleman, my instructor, Grandmaster Gene Young, shout out at U.S. Martial Arts Academy in Violin, New Jersey. When I met this gentleman, he was just so calm, cool, collected, relaxed. He had a great spirit about him. And I said, I don't need to shop no more, So that was the place me and my son started together many years ago. And my boy currently is a 4th degree black belt. And arts, got his blue belt. So we've been doing this for a long time. Father, son, great memories as far as the martial arts is concerned with that, and growing together, in that art. So
You have so many varieties and styles of martial arts that you're involved in. Where was it that you found throughout your journey that martial arts was something that you wanted to hold throughout your life and have as a staple throughout your life and make it a lifestyle? Because you don't get all of these credits without loving what you do. This is not easy work at all. So where was it? Where was the transition at? Where did you realize as a man, like, yeah, this is something, this is a life journey of mine. This is a calling of mine.
You know, it's funny that you asked me that because boxing, I had a lot of opportunities. Then you get caught up in some politics, and but you need a certain we say you need a little blood in your mouth. You need to be so hungry that, you know, and so aggressive to really be successful, especially in the early stages of that. And for me, growing up in Newark and having to be overly aggressive just to survive, you know, day-to-day survive. You know, you got to go from home to the corner store. You know, at the time you could go buy cigarettes for your moms, you know, you're younger, it didn't matter, you know, or make it to school and make it home. So you got to be super aggressive, you know, hyper aggressive in a very violent environment, you know. And the funny thing about it, as I was getting older and becoming a father, I needed to dial it back. If I continued doing the other arts, I didn't feel like I could. It was hard for me to turn that type of aggressive person off. And when I got involved in the martial arts, my instructor wouldn't let me spar nobody for like 2 years.
Wow, man.
He wouldn't let it happen. And I said, well, why? You know, I'm making changes. I'm trying to be cool. And he's like, something in your eyes. He told me something in my eyes. I said, okay, something in my eyes. But I had to look at myself some more. And in the martial arts, for you to become successful, you could do kicks, you could do this, that, and the other. But for you to become a true martial artist, and I love the whole culture, and I started reading up on the culture, reading up on the mindset, the philosophies, not just engaged in just the kicking and the punching, you know. And I started in the sword art. So you don't walk around with swords. You know? You can't walk around with swords. So that was one thing that my instructor had saw. He needed to have me go there first, because that's something that deals with, we call it the demons of the mind, you know, because it's really you against yourself. It's very hard training, and you're not chopping each other up in class, you know. So, you know, and you gravitate from wood to various different type of instruments up until having a live blade, a real sword that cut through trees and all that kind of stuff, because we cut bamboo and things like that with the live blade. But the respect of that maturation to that tool, which is a very deadly thing, changes you as an individual. And from there, I started my learning curve with all the other arts. I started all of them after that, but I flew through all the rankings with them, because sword is such an elite, high level martial art that I just picked everything else up. And I was like, man, you know, I can't walk around with swords, man. You know, I'm not about just this. I love it, you know. And then started assisting, teaching, helping people in the classes. And, you know, that's when I knew that it was a lot of changes with me. I was becoming more patient, you know, with myself, with people, you know, my interactions, like things didn't bother me. People talking slick didn't bother me at all. And I said, wait a minute. Hey, this is where it's at, man. You know, somebody step on my shoe, I could be like, oh, excuse me. I'm saying, excuse me, you stepped on my shoe. You know what I mean? So I noticed there was a change in me, and I said, this is good. It helped me, even in being a father. Like it helped me look, and I always wanted to be never a hypocrite. I couldn't be a hypocrite, you know, at no time. If I'm gonna be out here, I'm doing it, I'm sweating, I want my son to apply himself to the top, I gotta be willing to work. I gotta be willing to take a loss if I compete and I don't have my best showing. But that don't mean give up, you know. And because they watching, they sponges, you know. And you don't realize how many other people's children are watching you. You don't realize how many other people are looking up to you. You just doing you, you know. And the world's crazy, and it gave me some solace. You know, I grew up in a Christian household, you know, as my faith, you know, everybody has their own little beliefs and things of that nature. But coming up, it was hard for me to I acknowledged it, went through everything. When you're young, it's kind of you listening to mom and grandma. You go, you got to put the shoes on. You go to church. You just listen. You go. You know, you there, you around it, you hearing, you learning, but you didn't 100% buy into the different things, you know. But the martial arts and the training itself allowed me to start to physically be able to see the moral life that I was supposed to be living as far as that's concerned, and the physical standpoint of how it coincides together. And that can be probably related to anybody who has a moral set, a belief system, where they can look at the tenets of this, or what some people say 10 commandments, or the rules that for you to be a good instructor, a good martial art, a good classmate, or whatever like that, and see how morally there's no difference. You got to be on this line of move. So it was just like a helpful reminder of the things spiritually and mentally I need to do. So it really pulled everything together. I said, you know, I need this in my life, man. I guess it became my crack or something like that.
I hear you. You talk about a lot on how you got involved actively with your son and how that was important to you, that children are sponges. You talk about how it was just, you just talk about the youth a lot. And I know you, and I know how actively you are with the youth within the community. A lot of the people coming from a lot of the same hardships that we have. You have your own martial arts school. You teach your own children. Talk about that a little bit. Talk about your martial arts school. Talk about the children that you have in there and why you feel as though why do you have a passion for teaching the youth and schooling the children? Because not only did this brother do martial arts and martial arts instruction, but he's also within the music industry. Because when I first met Dan, I met him at the tender age of a teenager. I'll just put it that way. And I met him going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he brought me on, didn't know me from a can of paint, but knew that I had talent, knew that I had a good head on my shoulder, and was willing to take a young brother on a journey with him and teach him something along the way. And I learned real early on that this man has something special to give, especially to the youth. So just talk about your martial arts school and how you felt as though it was a responsibility of yours to give back, especially to our youth.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I have a martial art program. I'm not gonna say too much of school yet, because when you say school, people think of a brick and mortar. Where can I go see?
Right.
Well, right now, my model for martial arts is, you know, it needs to be accessible to everybody somehow, and you know, the logistics of business and things like that. You know, so I came up with a pretty much in the beginning a privatized way to learn martial arts, because martial arts to me, and just like each one of these children, is unique. And each one of the children in the class, because at this school I had spoke about U.S. Martial Arts Academy. I was the head instructor there for many years under my instructor. You know, I became the head instructor and a master instructor under him, and was running the facility and running summer camps and all that kind of stuff. So I was always there all the time, teaching everything with, you know, under his watchful eye, and keeping a certain quality to all the children. But there was in one spot. Everybody can't afford some of the rates that some of these schools charge, you know, and some people are kind of shy, right? But you pretty much got to teach to a big group, but they're all individuals. So you got to be able to address that. But one thing that I saw was there's a whole bunch of different family dynamics. And for me personally, when I went back to college, I went back to school, and that started to conflict with me teaching there all the time. So unfortunately, I had to leave instructing at school so I can graduate and finish my personal, you know, goals with college and things of that nature. And that affected some of the families. You know, like I said, you don't realize certain things that affected some families. When I gave my separation, my speech there, some people were crying, kids I was like, oh man, I felt so bad, like I was abandoning them in a certain way. But certain parents reached out to me, kept in contact, and the children didn't want to learn from nobody but me. And when I looked at the family dynamics, I saw how I could help these young mothers, you know, and with these children, and how I may be. One kid invited me they had a mentor day or something like that. I didn't know. I got a thing in the mail, got to go to the school. I went to school, and he gave this speech and everything. He came, and I was like, wow, it was a mentor breakfast or something like that. And he could have pulled anybody from his family there, but he chose to invite me. And, you know, in his speech, he was talking about how I was like a father and this, that, and the other. And I was like, wow, you know, that's a great responsibility. You got these young eyes looking at you, you know. So for me, I started running this program because these children still wanted to learn from me. That's what kept me continuing to teach, you know. And then I ran into another brother who had a program, Master Jeff Boyer at ACIT. And, you know, we had some great communications. He said, hey, listen, you got a skill set that my students can benefit from. Why don't you bring your guys over? Because like I said, I didn't have a brick and mortar, you know. When I left there, I left with nothing. You know, I was back at nothing. When I walked out of that place for all the years, I was back at square one. I had no school. I had nothing. All I had was a bunch of knowledge and a big heart, and some kids that still wanted to learn. So what I did was I made a room in my house. You know, I made a dojo, a little private dojo at my crib, and I said, "This is how we get it. You want to get it? We're gonna get it." You know, because they needed me, and I wasn't gonna walk away from them. And so that opportunity showed up to share my knowledge out at ACIT. So I was able to do that for a couple nights a week last year. And right now I'm still keeping it moving. I'm very humble with the small group that I teach. I have some people who do seek me out for some private training, health training, that learn the arts, personalize their self-defense ability, and introducing them to martial arts, because I've been blessed to be able to have the skills and have the knowledge that I do have in all these different skill sets. So it's pretty much one-stop shop. Whatever you want to learn, I could teach. But it's really the person, you know. I have a slogan, committed to building champions in life. That's what I'm committed to doing. And my school, the program is a Chosun Academy of Full Circle Martial Arts. That's the name of it. And just real quick on the title, so people, that came to me in a dream, Chosun Academy. And some people ask, well, what does Chosun mean? In Korean, that means heaven. You know, you look around and everybody does what they want to do, but I'm kind of like, I shy away from opening a school and like having Master Dan Carey Academy, you know, Dan Carey Academy of Martial Arts, because I'm not that important. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that important. I don't need to put my name up in lights. I'm not that important. You know, what is martial arts for? You know, what should human existence be for? We should be able to uplift each other. So when you walk in these doors, I should be able to embark on you qualities that transcend myself. Qualities I should give you, hold a lamp up to something that maybe I haven't even achieved yet, because we're imperfect people. But at least I can hold the light and tell you, you know, and try to be a good example the best way I can be as I strive to improve myself. And that's why I named it Chosun Academy.
Right. I'm gonna ask you about some of those core values, because you pretty much said, you know, the art of what you learned pretty much changed your life. Can you share with the people, you know, out there, some of those things that you learned, you know, with your teachers that changed your life?
Well, one big thing for me was being mindful of humility.
Okay.
Right. And then being mindful of humility. But one word we always talk about it, you know, RIP Aretha Franklin, respect. Now, coming up, I got to take it back to the bricks for this. I got to take it back to you know, to the hood on this one. Your idea of respect. Oh, you disrespect me, you know what I'm saying? How did he disrespect you? Really, if you really look into what respect is, do you have a healthy perspective of respect? Because if you have a healthy perspective of the word respect, then you will have a healthy one, a more reasonable perspective of disrespect. Right. And there's levels to it. You know, so these number one things is respect your others. And then you look at your home, like the rules for the kids: respect your mother, your father, your brothers, your sister, your siblings, you know, add those in your community, be positive in the community, you know, be the best you can be. You know, you ask for help when you need help, accept defeat when you are defeated. There's no such thing as losing. There's only lessons. These are things that I speak about. These are the things that I push forward because in training, these are all obstacles and challenges that I had to take a look at. You know, how you address people. Cultures have different ways that they do it. You know, some people, I met some folks like, why I bound that person? Why I bow each other? They ain't better than you. That's not God or something like that. Well, okay, yeah, okay. They not God. They not. You should only bow. So no problem. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I can understand that. But do you understand the reason why? Or are you just taking a ignorant position of I'm not bowing to nobody? I'm not bowing to that person. What I'm doing from their culture, understanding that I'm opening myself up to knowledge from their culture. And this is the way you respect the level of knowledge that this person has to offer you. You're not on a level. And that's why you will bow, because you are respecting, you know, what they can give to you. You're not exalting them to be a god or anything like that. But this is just a cultural way to, you know, be respectful. Like, remember like Thanksgiving some houses used to have the kids table.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So say in a Korean household, don't nobody eat unless the elder ate first. Nobody do not, like, you don't even pour yourself a drink unless you offer them to fill a cup first. All right. Okay. Look at a different culture. You got the kids table. You know, let grandma and them go up there and get the food first, right? Well, grandma ain't got to go get nothing. The kids is serving the elders. And a lot of these things, ethically, people don't recognize nor respect. And where the culture, society all start at home. You see, so their way of life, the lifestyle that martial art pushes for you to excel in it, is holistic, you know, all the way around. You know what I'm saying? So if none of the top athletes in no sport, nowhere, even in business, top business people, they eat, sleep what they're trying to be successful at. Yeah. Right. And so why take that away from trying to be the best human being?
Definitely.
You know, and these I know I said a lot, but those are the things that about martial arts that I have to push is like so core. You know, it's not me. It don't matter. It's a million schools out there. It's a bunch of great instructors out there. It's all types of arts out there. You have to find the right place that meets your highest standard. Whatever high standard you have, when you walk into a place, if it don't smell right, look right, feel right, it ain't right. Walk out, you know, because you can find a lot of comparable people out there. And then you should have your eye open enough to smell a snake and smell who's fake, you know, because there are some people out there too.
Right.
Talk about the business a little bit, because a lot of people know about the advantages of martial arts and everything, the advantages and the gifts that you gain from it, but not a lot of people know the hardships of the business. I remember a couple of days ago, I was watching something on Netflix. I can't wait to show my son. It was called Counterpunch. 3 boxers, different journeys. In the beginning, it talked about all these boxing gyms being up in New York and how they were free, but now there's none at all. You talk about a lot of martial arts schools, and some of them, yeah, they have the best intention at heart, but some of them are just straight out trying to franchise and trying to grab money. So talk about the business side of it, the hardships of starting your own martial arts academy, the things that go in and out of it. Why more gyms that you see kind of just falling to the wayside when it comes to outlets, especially in the inner cities for our youth. And then talk about the franchises and those martial arts academies just out for gain.
That's a big question. But it's a popular one. You know, for me, okay, the one reason why I developed the system that I have now, full circle martial arts system, is because of a belief that I have that, and a lot of people will disagree with me, but I believe that no martial art is better than another. Absolutely believe that. You know, you have people who showcase the art, exquisite, that are the bomb. Then you got people who, from any art, who listen, they just look, stop. You trying, but that may not be for you. But you love it, so you. Who am I to tell this person to stop? I can't judge an art off of those people, right? And you cannot judge the art over the other people who are all that in a bag of chips, right? It's really the fit. One of the professors, and I agree 100%. You know, people love jujitsu. I love jujitsu. It's super fun. I have my opinion about what I don't want to do because the art itself, the beauty of the art is you're one-on-one, you're doing what you do, you're in bad situations and you don't give up and you find your way out. You have to find a way out or you choked out or you tapped out. It's one of the like it's super aggressive, very real to the aggression you will get in a controlled way to someone really trying to hurt you, you know, and that way. There's a lot of pressure that pushes your mindset. And it is not, well, they do have points in competition, but when you go, you're not thinking about that. When you're just in the gym, you're like, oh snap, I'm about to get choked out. You know, that's a little bit different, but that's in a one-on-one setting. See, and where I came from, I never had a fair fight my whole life. Now, I don't believe other arts would say, oh, you just need to punch him this one. I don't believe in that either. And for me, I got a background in so many martial arts that I feel as though I can speak this way because each art has the range it's meant for, you know, and what you need. I believe in building your toolbox. Have your toolbox, man. It's a million things you could learn, but a good mechanic, a master technician, you know, shout out to my man Miguel Perez, you know, he's a great master technician out there in Violent, New Jersey, fixed all my stuff. All right. But a master technician knows I don't need all these tools to fix that. I only need this and this. And I'll be super efficient and I'll tune that right up. Other guy got pulling this, doing that, doing this, doing that. And it take 20 years to get something done. It don't need to do that. So if people are honest about their arts and they sell the art the right way, and they're not just looking to pay, every school has to pay bills. That's what people got to understand. You got to keep the lights on if it's a business. You're not going to get rich in being a martial arts instructor, but there are some well-off instructors, hence the, you know, I'm not going to mention too many names, but the McDojos that people like to say. And that come around because of other arts, the McDojo not respecting the belt system, not respecting this. You just pay for your belts. You come in there 2 weeks, you came to class, you get it. The kid's terrible, you know, but they're getting the belt anyway because they was there for 2 weeks, you know. Excuse me. It depends on that instructor. If this kid at 6 years old, there's say a class like that, young kids that's both for 6 years old, and striking arts, you got many different arts. You got taekwondo, you got karate, you got, you know, and they get the biggest beating right now from other communities. It's like karate schools and stuff. I get a big beating from other communities, martial art communities. Like that's fake, that's this, that, and the other. Okay, they get the kids all these belts. All right, understand. You got to respect the culture of what's going on, right? They should need to earn it. But if this kid's not an athlete and this kid is an athlete, I can't hold the kid that's not an athlete to the athlete standard. If he understands what he's supposed to do, he might not be the athlete, right? He's working just as hard and actually harder than the athlete because this come natural to him. He deserves to move up, all right? Now, the business of it is the pricing, things of that nature. Some stuff is just ridiculous price. So as being a good consumer, you got to be a good consumer. And I don't listen as a consumer. I wouldn't listen to the instructors too much. I would just talk to the parents, and not the parent the instructor tell you to go talk to. Go check it out, see what's what. Check it out. You just like you buy a car, you just don't walk on a lot and take whatever the salesman tell you. You know. But the bad parts about it is like you get the diminished to keep a school over is hard because you have other arts talking bad about this art and they're trying to take the business from there. That's kind of cut through. The art should speak for itself, and if you love it, you should be there, right? But then you have people who don't do the right things they're charging too much, they're not giving you the proper service, and you're playing more soccer games or games than you're teaching the kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, listen, he could do that at home. I brought him here to learn something. But the other thing about it is the consumer that makes the business hard, is the consumer. Everybody wants a safe space. You can't train kids hard. You can't push them. And even in other coaching things, you can't coach a certain way. You can't be too tough. Everybody got a problem. They just want a baby and a participation trophy. Like, listen, you know what I'm saying? So these are the things that affect the arts bad. And then you have YouTube's great. It's a blessing and it's a curse. For being a martial arts instructor, especially like say in any of the arts, but say jiu-jitsu, early on, when I first started really getting into it, you know, I had to distinctly not watch YouTube with stuff for jiu-jitsu. I had to, because I'm looking, it looks cool, but I don't understand the fundamentals to be able to pull off that cool move. But I go to class and you get, as an instructor, I can speak, you'll get some guys. I know he was watching YouTube like crazy because he come here trying to do something crazy that he not at that level to do the move. Because you need to know how to defend against the move for you to understand how to do the move. You don't know how to defend against it. You haven't even been on the mat long enough. Why are you trying to do some advanced move that you could end up hurting yourself because you did not condition yourself for learning the process? Some people with those type of things like that, because media, I mean, whatever you want is out there. It's out there. Why do I even need to go train martial arts when I can watch YouTube all day, or I could buy a DVD, or I could subscribe to some streaming teacher? You know, these are the things that now the brick and mortar schools have to compete with.
Wow.
And so I say, as an instructor, you got to be a great instructor. You got to be real. You got to want to be involved with your people, rather than just want your people to pay on time. That is another problem. When people don't pay on time, we know things happen, but you know, they don't pay on time, or they go back to the safe space. They look for a reason. It's a hardship or whatever like that during the economy. They're looking for any excuse to pull the kids out, any way to be dissatisfied with you, to say you're not doing still as an instructor, so they don't have to spend whatever they're spending on tuition a month. You know, it's a quick, easy excuse. So the kid get hard and the kid want to quit. And they're like, well, Johnny don't want to do it no more. Susie don't want to do it no more. What do you mean Susie don't want to do it no more? Oh, they're giving me a hard time to get in the car and come. What are you talking about? Who's parenting here?
Right.
You know, and I that's why I say it's holistically, it go all the way around. You know, like I had this one woman, she had a lot of kids, and she came to us because she needed some help. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I was like, listen, don't worry about it. You're not in this by yourself. You've come here and we're on the same team. I got your back. Whatever you need help, I'm gonna help you with it. Whatever's going on, I'll help you with the kids. You know, when you come in, they'll not only just hear from you, they'll hear from us. We are a team for the same thing, the success for these children, you know. But the kids kept on getting. One day she came in, she's like, listen, this is gonna be my last day because they gave me such a hard time today, and I'm just tired. I'm tired. Like, and I pulled her to the side and I said, excuse me, let me ask you something. Would you rather them give you a headache about getting in the car, or you getting a headache from the police station calling you because and she had to think about that. I said, come on now, take this headache now. Make them do something that they might not want to do right now, because they once look at them, they having fun. They just giving you a hard time in the car because they probably want to play. You know, we balance it out. You know, don't burn the kids out. You can't burn the parents out. You got to be able to balance it out. But people have to want to finish things out too. And that's everything. A good instructor, a good school has a super commitment to their children and their parents and their families. And the parents and families need to have that same commitment to any instructor that's out there, giving them 100% of themselves. You know, but you do have to be mindful of the traps. You know, you're getting good quality attention in there. and you know, it's every gym has their own little life, you know. But you got to pay the bills. But those are the things that hit you, you know.
I wanted to talk about the book. You have a book out, The Journey. Dan Carey. Get into a little bit about the book, man, and what's going to be in the book. I'm sure that you've probably told a lot of the stories in the book right now about some of the testimony that you've been speaking throughout the interview. But talk about the book a little bit. Give the people out there a little bit of the what the book's going to be about before we have our hip hop conversation real quick.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The book's it's called The Journey, subtitle To Forge a Warrior. Basically, you know, it started out as like a martial art manual. Really what it started out, but I kind of switched it up because that's not for everybody, you know. And like I say, me writing the book was more to express some of the deeper things I think that people don't think about. Some of to your question about, like, you know, the business itself. My thing was pretty much personalizing the book. If you're interested in martial arts, why would you even go into a gym to check it out? So let's look at the mindset, let's look at the person, let's look at the people. And so the book, I'm sharing a little bit of my challenges in life and the things I went through as an individual that the martial arts help you with. You know, we got a lot of things that what it does, it builds confidence, you know, it helps you deal with fear, you know, all of these things that you gain from it. But it's a mindset you need to have. And if you are martial arts, maybe taking a look at your journey, what the style that you have trained made you think about, and then ask yourself some questions as a martial artist on how can I improve, what can I do for it, and just testing people's perspective. And it's a totally motivational book, you know, but I just wanted to poke people to think openly a little bit more. It's not being so closed off, and then understand that martial arts is not just about kicking and punching. You know, it's a deeper thing. You know, I had a woman one time that I was teaching. She told me, you know, I'm definitely afraid of people being in my personal space. And she came out the woodwork. It's like, I want to go compete. I was like, what? You want to go compete? And this was at a jiu-jitsu tournament. I said, sure. Okay, we'll go. And they put her in the ring with a woman that was way out of her weight class, you know, but they didn't have anybody. So that's what she got. So she went and she fought, man. And man, she tore this lady up. And as so much so, she took the gold. And at the end, we talking about it. She was so happy she got that gold medal. And it was like a blood stain on her gi and on her uniform jacket. We call that the gi. And I looked at it and I said, man, the biggest thing that you achieved today past getting your gold medal is you were perfectly fine with somebody being in your personal space. Mm-hmm. And she looked at me and she said, you're right. Mm-hmm. You're right. I was not bothered at all. You're right. And this woman had her in compromising positions, putting a lot of pressure on her, everything. She didn't freak out. She did what she needed to do. And I was speaking to a lot of those values, a lot of those things in the book on your mindset. Your mindset outside martial arts, family, life in itself.
Dope, man. This was a great interview. I know we're pressed for a little bit of time, but we could talk all day about this. I got a number of other questions, but I know we want to get into hip hop real quick. On the Uncensored Truth podcast with myself, Sam Man, about hip hop news, old guy to hip hop news, Uncensored. The Uncensored Truth podcast. We got our man Dan Carey in the building right now, martial arts instructor, author, a number of other titles. This is a great interview. Want to transition into the hip hop conversation real quick before we get out of here.
No doubt.
Because we always try to kind of get our people involved when it comes to hip hop. It's what we do here. Epidemic. We all know Mac Miller passed away from drug overdose. We see a number of hip hop people, entertainers, just throughout our community dying of opiate abuse, drug abuse, things like that. You're in the martial arts field. You're a martial arts instructor. So health and fitness, body awareness, mind awareness is definitely key. Talk about the epidemic as of when it comes to hip hop and why it's promoted so heavily in hip hop and how it affects the children and how it affects the youth that are listening to the music that they're hearing.
Man, we talking about pimping it, man. Basically, I've got a lot of accolades as a martial artist, but you know, I was in this music thing for a minute, you know. So for me, looking at the industry and looking at how it perverted the culture in certain senses, you know, and we look at, you know, you got those who are doing decent as far as being independent artists, but where they at? You're never gonna see them on the radio. You're not gonna hear them nowhere. They ain't. You're not hearing nowhere. All you're doing is they making the most out of media. You know, social media things like, and great.
Yeah.
Blessings for the media, so social media platforms for them to eat. If we didn't have it, they wouldn't be eating. But what you hear and what you see is all of the stuff out there to, you know, you want to be on the scissor, all that kind of stuff, you know, the lean, everything like that. You watch it, everybody want to be smoking, you know, getting super drunk. This is the lifestyle they want to perpetuate to the kids. Bad enough if they don't have no real good morals in the community, all they see is that lifestyle, you know. So they suck it up. They sponges, all like I say, and they could take that in. But years ago, you had Jeezy came out and he was talking against it, you know, and like 2017, you know, he was talking there early 2018. Sacramento rapper was it Mozzie, or I think that was his name. He was speaking about the opioid addiction too. I ain't hear that nowhere. You know, people been talking about it. It's bad because it affects everything else. I'm in education too, so when I have to deal with different children being that come to me whose families may have, for some reason, they have different classifications, but I work for the Justice Commission, a lot of different things, and a lot of children, babies that have certain physical ailments due to the lifestyles that the parents had, you know, and we look at our parents, a lot of them young, you know, and this is they do. It was like, was it two recently in the news? I think it was three young ladies who got time because they was blowing shotguns into the babies.
Yeah,
what is that?
Yeah.
You know, what is that? Why is that cool? Because anybody can do anything, say whatever, you know, and you got certain artists out there that's all that they perpetuate, you know, that's all that they have to talk about. And you have to raise that up. But the industry does the disservice because they're not putting other people out that have great lyrics, that are putting positive messages out there. They're not giving them the same, you know. But if you flood the community with garbage, that's what you're gonna get. When you flood with something positive, that's what you get, because you always eat. But that's the only thing they feed in the community, and that's a problem that I have with the industry right now. It's like, you know, if you really wanted to do something,
does it speak to like a bigger would you say it's like a bigger plot and a plan? Because the execs, you know, to a certain extent, you know, they have control over what type of music comes out, and there's been many rappers who said they try to put out the positive stuff, they ain't really want to promote that. So do you think it's like a plan and a plot to kind of, you know, because it's the pharmaceutical industry and it's a big time money maker, you know, so speak to that, please.
Well, I look at it like this. These people are so when you sit on the top, you want to sit on the top. If you know, if I'm making 50 million, if I made 50 million in a quarter, my goal is to make 100 million next quarter.
Oh yeah.
Right. So only conversation I want to have is greenbacks. So the only conversation they having is greenbacks. They not caring social. You know, the people that's really good, they not even in the office. They on a yacht somewhere.
True.
Like, come on. First of all, the industry had to strong arm the industry back some way. Once Napster came out, they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
They wasn't making money on CDs. They wasn't making money on nothing. People wasn't buying music no more. So how am I going to be able to do it? You know, I might get in trouble for this, but there's a lot of cats out there that don't got no talent.
Yeah, you and Neil said the truth. Gotta say it.
They just got views. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's people. Me and my boy was talking about this the other day. Actually, this morning we was talking. My man, it's cats out there making millions for nothing.
Literally,
nothing.
Yeah.
You making millions for nothing. You know, I don't knock nobody hustle.
Right.
Okay, but sometimes I go to the gym trying to do my thing. You ain't even sweating, but you taking 1 million Instagram photos. Or you do 2 or 3 squats and somebody recorded it, and you ain't sweating, and you got your gear on, you trying to look good, and you put your posts up, And just because you did a couple squats and you get a couple views for your squats, now you're making some cash, but you ain't even working out. You sitting there for 5 minutes.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on that real quick, because what would you say to the person that's gonna leave the comment in the comment section, because they will, that say, oh, this is just an old head lost in the time. He needs to be caught up in the time. This is the wave now. This is the YouTube. Why can't you catch up with time? What do you say to those people?
What I say to those people is this: I'm here. I'm not lost. I'm just, I guess you could call me an old head because I got some age, but that don't mean that I'm not observant to everything. You know what I'm saying? I observe everything. And like I said earlier, disclaimer, I don't knock nobody hustle. Okay, but when we talk about the industry and we talk, it's me nowadays for people who had no opportunity to make no money, to get your money, who was getting because somebody with no talent was saying you didn't have no talent. You know, you got the opportunity to put it all out there, but be doing something worthwhile and get your paper. You know what I mean? And the industry in itself, if this is what's giving us our power back, putting this out, this is what's hot, because it ain't like, I'm gonna put it like this. Back in the day, I played the Apollo Theater. You know what I'm saying? I performed it and didn't get booed. You feel me? So it's like the crowd, the DJs broke the music. They found you. They saw you like, what? They broke it. Yo, that joker hot. They broke it. And then the people was like, yeah, they hot. You know, you go to Apollo, you get roasted if you don't belong up there. You're gonna get roasted, right? These are the people not people fronting, right? Totally fronting, putting something out there that's super catchy. Like, okay, we talk about a song length. Song length used to be a lot longer for a song. Let's say R&B or something like that. R&B song.
4:30.
Like 4 minutes.
5:26. We're singing ballads.
We talk of the attention spans. Maybe it's media. Maybe it's just the way life is fast like this now. All the stream, you got to find out everything's going on right now. Why? You're not even focused on yourself enough. There's a lot of escapism going on, right? Yeah. But so that song that was 4:30 moved down 3:15. Now you got songs that's hot. Right?
Yeah.
That's 2 minutes. Ain't even hitting 3 minutes.
Those are interludes back in the day.
Those was
facts. Yeah.
Like skits. You know what I'm saying? Like
Wu-Tang interludes. You know what I mean?
Like, now it's a whole radio ready, record approval cut. So, and I say that to say the standard that I once talked about, people dropped the standard down.
Facts. I agree.
You know what I mean? Everybody dropped their standard down. And I truly believe that, you know, if you're a carpenter, you're a carpenter. If you're a brain surgeon that kind of know carpentry, that's great. But you ain't going to be looked at as a carpenter. You're going to be looked at as a brain surgeon. Right? Be who you are. And my whole thing is like, it's easy for people to be who they think they're supposed to be behind a computer. It's easy for people to say whatever they want to say in the comment section. You're supposed to be able to speak and have a platform to speak. All welcome. Say what you want to say. It's all good. But I've been around from 8 tracks to cassette decks to the Walkman to CD players to the iPods to the MP3 player to all of that. To now you don't need none of that. All you need is your phone and you're good. You know what I'm saying? Bluetooth, from headphones to Bluetooth, you gotta have a wire. You need a longer wire. Okay, so it ain't about catch up with the times. Listen, I'm elevated. I elevated with the time. So it's nothing new under the sky. It's just repackaged. People get excited about Harachis. I had them in 90. The same ones you tripping on, I had that exact same pair. It's just a recycle. But, you know, they put a different gloss, a different sheen on it, and it's super fresh. Nah, it's the same thing. Come on.
You say recycle. So do you think that today's opiate epidemic is a recycled version of the 80s crack epidemic?
Good question.
Heck yeah.
Good question.
See what you see in the 80s, it only affected your black communities. You've seen black crackheads all over the place. You've seen cocaine was popular amongst the Hollywood and all that. But once crack hit, it destroyed black. But when you see 2018, and like we talked about in the podcast earlier, it's destroying everybody. So when you say recycle,
well, isn't that the only time it matters?
So
you bringing up a whole other thing. Like, that's the time it only matters, right? Look, drug addiction, crack addiction, they ain't really care. Only thing they changed when it came down, when crack hit, was they did the mandatory drug sentences.
Yes, sir.
You feel me? So that's great because we want the crack to get them anyway. And now we can get them and keep them all away. And that's flip side, big business. Because see, when the crack industry started when the crack really hit, privatized incarceration was bigger. Right? So the end justifies, I mean, that's a whole different conversation. Right? So people gonna blow that up. It's like, okay, whatever. Don't talk to me about it. I don't want to hear nothing about it. Research 13th Amendment, see what's going on, and check out about all these different things. Do your own research. It's out there. There's no reason to be ignorant this day and age because you can find your information all the time. You ain't gotta believe me. You don't gotta listen to me. You don't gotta care. I don't care. But when you look at school shootings, in my hood, it was something popping off like that all the time, every week. It wasn't in the papers. Soon as it hits certain communities, now it's a national problem. Now it's a oh my goodness. Right? But when it hits other communities, it's not that big of a deal, you know. It's not that big of a deal when it should be number one because we're human beings. All right. And I speak on like, oh, why don't you call it like this, that? Because I'm not into debating, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into all that. It's everything's out in front. Nobody's stupid. You see what's happening. I'm gonna get into, you know, it is what it is. Why would you see that whole question just opens up like a whole tree of why people pay attention to this, don't pay attention to that, why they want to be mad at this, don't want to be mad at that. You know, it's like it's so many things. It's like, come on, the hypocrisy is crazy, right? People want to be pro this, pro that. I believe in stump your toe, fall, scrape your knees, and getting up. You out there, and I'm happy for artists that maybe was showing that life when they was doing it, you know, out there doing whatever, changed things up, became political activists or whatever like that, and they not living that life no more, and they speak and they became woke. As all young kids, I'm woke. What you woke about? You still got your diapers on, and you talking about you woke. All you're doing is regurgitating what somebody else told you with a fake motivation for something sometimes. Not all. But sometimes, because it's a big mob mentality that people just want to be on the bandwagon because they want to be so accepted. They want to have a meme or something. They want to put a post down. They want to rant somewhere on IG, or they want to get whatever kind of likes because they not really believe in that. Right? It's a reason why they dropped something on the movement in Philadelphia, but yet you still got the KKK around here, and it's easy. Give them a permit, let them march. You see what I'm saying? If these people just living a little different than everybody, you drop a bomb on them, right? How come everybody Black Panthers went to jail, but you still got the skinheads, you got the Nazis, you got these different people out here? It's not. Arsenio, you say things that make you go, right? So really, like, it's an open-ended question, and that's why, like, I wrote the book because I want people to think openly. You know, think openly about whatever issue it is. You know, like, I have my opinion, but my opinion is like, you know, assholes and armpits. You know, everybody got them, some of them stink.
Most of them stink.
Most of them, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm open-minded enough to say, okay, yeah, I hear you. I see what you're saying. But if I'm going to be catching up with the times, as someone want to say, on any platform out there, it's going to be just like my martial arts, efficient, to the point, and real. Because that's who I am, and I could be who I am, and I'm sure about that. Some people still second guessing themselves, you know, like Tekashi trying to come at Eminem and can't get his freestyle together.
That's a joke. He's a joke.
You know what I mean?
That's a publicity stunt and a half. At the end of the day. But man, you listening to the Uncensored True podcast with my brother, Old God, myself saying, man, we got our man Dan Carey in the building. Great interview on the podcast today. Brother Carey, won't you tell the people out there at the Uncensored True podcast where they can find you, your social media handles, YouTube, websites, things like that. Let them know where they can find you. Yeah,
YouTube, I got some things on there. You can find it, Master Daniel Carey at YouTube. That's that right there. You know, Instagram at CareyDO. You know, Twitter, look, DC Real Talk, entertainment stuff, you know, and Team Conda on Twitter. at Team Conda, hence the hat. You know, the Team Conda there, we about doing big things. And, you know, if you want to find out some more about myself, you can look up chosunfcma.com, chosun, CHOSON, FCMA.com. And, yeah, man, I like to keep it real in any way I possibly can. It's, like I said, I'm committed to building champions in life. You know, I really don't. It's bigger than martial arts, I feel, but that's just my medium of helping people become that better people and think.
Great. We got some great interview, man.
Great knowledge. Man.
Take us home.
Appreciate it. Yeah, man. But you listen to another episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast. One more in our interview series. We're going to keep this going, man, with more interviews, bring you professionals from all over from different walks of life. So yeah, man, if you want to get in contact with him, if you're in this area, the tri-state area, or, Jersey, South Jersey, North Jersey, hit this brother up, man. You know what I mean? He can definitely teach you. I'm sure you could probably do stuff online too, whatever. You know what I mean? Man, I know it's better in person. It's better, but
it's better in person. Right. Not to hijack nothing like that, but one thing that I'm doing, you could hit me up through the website, or send a message through YouTube. All these things you can send a message or whatever like that. I like doing group seminars and things of that nature. I always work that out. And in the future, I will be putting up, a home study program that's linked to people who, if you have me for a seminar, do a seminar, whatever it is, you'll be able to review, talk like that. We continue to have a communication. So at least I have time to spend time with you, explain some things to you, and you won't forget it after you did it with me. So I make that available,
Dope. To appreciate that. Yeah. Yes, sir. So y'all got it right there. So yeah, man, we out of here. Hit the like button. Make sure that you share this video. Peace.